let's transition to this third part about funding. If you each can just talk a little bit about how did you get funding to start your business, and then run through the fundraising journey. I know, Carol, you are bootstrapped, so maybe you can start first with just about how you get your funding for your business, where you're still working, and then we can go to Rebecca and Roxane.
Sure. I was working as a health coach. As I mentioned, I was working with clients, and I had an idea to provide them with this service that they basically were asking me for. Like, can you just help me get the food? Like, I understand how to eat well. Can you just help me get the food? So it started from there. So I was working as I built the business. I remember I had about $4,500 that I felt that I could take from the business and put towards starting Provenance Meals. And I remember having a lot of conversations with my husband about it and deciding, yeah, this is worth that investment. So I did. I started with $4,500 and built it from there. I honestly, this was 2013, and there were a lot less maybe startups then, a lot less direct to consumer brands. And I honestly just didn't even consider going out and pitching and trying to raise a bunch of money for my business. This was more about this is something that I want to do. This is something that I think can be successful, and I'm just going to go and give it my best shot. I never really thought in the way of raising millions of dollars and then having runway. It was always like, make this work within the means that I have currently. So it became profitable starting 2014, and I just have been reinvesting the profits from the business back into the business. Then we hit a point where, oh, okay, now I've learned a little bit more about fundraising and the journey of other founders, and realized like I can have this lifestyle business and we'll be fine, it'll be profitable, or I can make this something bigger. And I do have bigger dreams for the company, and that's where you do have to seek outside capital, which is where we're at right now. I can continue, but it will stay flat, or I can really fulfill my dreams of making this a nationwide brand and having as much impact, like positive impact on as many people as possible in this country and maybe even globally with food that truly supports health.
Awesome.
I can go next.
Okay, yeah.
So when I first started the Lieu, so I was coming off of my first startup that in my eyes failed, but I had like a minor sale of the assets. So I had some of that. And then I also funded the business. So I shut operations down at my first company in January 2018 and incorporated the Lieu in February 2018. So I'm a certifiable crazy person. Yeah, so there's that. And also, I knew that we needed capital. So kind of looking at what Carol's process was too, right? There's nothing wrong with being a lifestyle brand. There's nothing wrong with doing exactly what she was doing, is taking the profits of the business, reinvesting into the business, right? When I first started the Lieu, I looked at this as creating a new market. And so I knew from the jump that I needed outside capital to give us the runway in order to get a land grab opportunity with clients and all that stuff. So, really the fundraising process it's been a lot of bootstrapping. I bootstrapped the company for the first year, really to get a sense of product market fit, because I think that we're always trying to get product market fit, and all these pivots that we have and times that we're going through are changing product market fit. So we had an idea of what that was. And then from there, we started and then like micro VCs and institutionals. So from the bootstrap, a lot of credit cards, lots of loans, all that stuff, all the good stuff, right? Did that for a while, and then got to a point where we knew what our product market fit was for that period of time to go out to raise. So I got into an accelerator, and it was a strategic accelerator. It's called MetaProp. They're a real estate slash, like property tech fund. So we got funding from them, and then simultaneously started raising on Republic. So we've gone out twice now to go fundraise, very unsuccessfully. We thought we had the product to get funding, and literally I spent 4 months trying to raise money for what I thought it was going to be, and it didn't happen. And that was really the point where I was looking at alternative ways of funding, hence Republic. So we went through all the institutionals. I've talked to literally every big fund in the city, and realized that we know our market. We have to prove that. And so first of all, getting a strategic, and then going out to get for this Republic raise has helped us a lot. So we've secured both, I guess, a strategic investment and also Republic. And the plan is to go back out to raise the rest, pending this whole pandemic.
Thank you for sharing all of that. Roxane, do you want to say something quickly about this, or do you want to just?
I'll be quick. I mean, similarly, we bootstrapped. We had to prove our concept. We had to prove what we were doing. We were talking gibberish to people, even people in our industry. They just didn't really see the value in what we were offering. And within our first couple of years, we really showed, and we sold at a profit right away. We took a while to build the right supply chain and the right product. We started with just a small friends and family, and crowdfunding made sense because we had a lot of people following us and wanting to be part of what we were doing, especially now building a tasting room. So it's like a more communal space. But yeah, we are now starting to look into angel investment. We went through a lot of like small pitches just to feel the ground. Like I said, it was very new to us, but we quickly realized that we had to bootstrap and prove our concept before even talking bigger money or talking to people that really mattered or could make a difference.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And yeah, Anastasia is right in saying that's intense. I think the founder journey, especially for women, it can be pretty difficult. Want to mention, there's also another question that kept coming up, which is, were you ever acutely aware of yourself as a female founder as opposed to just a founder during your fundraising journey? And if so, maybe give a quick example about that.
I have a good example. I was never aware of myself as a female founder until this very moment where I was pitching my business to an elderly white man, and he tapped me on the head and said, "Good for you." And then I was like, all right. So
how dare he? Oh my God.
And that was just the start of it. But that moment, it was very early on into our, and you go to events and network with people and spending a lot of time in places that we were, not uncomfortable in because it was fun, but not our environment. And in that moment, I was like, all right, this is going to be fun. So, yes.
I have a similar thing. I was sitting in an investor meeting with like a huge VC, and he was like, "This is the best thing I've ever heard, blah, blah, blah." And at the end of it, well, first of all, he brought in his female colleague in the middle of our meeting. And then at the end of it, he was like, "Why don't you just take out a loan?" I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, why would I be sitting here talking to you if you don't think I've exhausted all of my options here?" So yeah, I get some of these interactions quite often, but that was one that I will forever remember. I wanted to tell him off, but That wasn't gonna happen.
Cool, calm, collected. Vera asks Roxane, how did you react? So just put it in the chat. But one last question, I think, and then we could open up to Q&A. If not, we have like 10 other questions that we didn't get to. So totally fine. But once again, guys, there is a chat box. Please put in where you're from, just because I want to know, because especially for new people that are just joining us, and then also for any questions you might have based off of this entire conversation. But lastly, is your crowdfunding experience, how's that been going? Like what have you done so far that has, helped in, raising the provenance of your crowdfunding campaign, crowd investing campaign? And then, we'll have one last short question right after that, and then we'll open it up. So anyone?
I think that crowdfunding, crowd investing is so great because we already had built a base of like our biggest supporters, our biggest cheerleaders. So to give them an opportunity to kind of get in on the ground floor and become a stakeholder in what we were building, this has been great. Like we had thought of it before because we do have a lot of clients who have money and want to support us, but there was really no easy sort of way to ask that. So the Republic Crowdfund has been fantastic for that. And I think it simplifies things for us in terms of it being one line on the cap table. It's not a question. I think when you start to get into angel and definitely VC, you really have to weigh how much of your company are you giving away? How much control are you giving away? And what is this going to affect? How is this going to affect sort of overall environment of the company that I run? And I didn't feel like I had to worry about those concerns via the crowd safe investment. And that's really been such a positive for me, is because I'm very clear on where I want to take this company and how I want to grow it, and how big we can be and how successful we can be. I didn't want to have to give away any of that control. As a female founder, I think that there is sort of you have to fight twice as hard as anybody else to, make sure that your vision is taken as legitimate and possible. So owning that control as much as possible has been really key for me. And that was a big part of the reason we decided to raise via a crowd investment.
So our business, again, is B2B, and I never considered crowdfunding or crowd investing at all until, I exhausted my VC run. And I think that I honestly am so grateful for the fact that we could raise on Republic, and we are female centric, and that is our business. And like Carol said, it's a little hard to convey that as a female founder, and also having a female centric brand and company. It was challenging, and adding the layer of B2B on there was a bit more complex, but I'm so grateful for this campaign, to be honest, because not only has it made it super secure for my friends and family to be able to invest in our supporters to invest, but it's also, again, sits as one line item on the cap table. You don't have to get diluted, a crap ton from the beginning. It just makes it, as a founder, super convenient almost and secure, and it allows us to run our businesses without having to go out for all those meetings and waste time, and just continue to build. And that's something that I'm super grateful for with this campaign.
Awesome. And by the way, so Carol and Rebecca have their campaigns live. Roxane, you actually just finished your campaign, right? So what was the experience like on your end?
We did. We finished. We raised $169,000 with over 500 investors. So very happy. It was quite an experience. I think the key is knowing how to simplify your messaging, and that was really interesting, is really how to just the bare bones of, okay, what do you do, why do you do it, and how far have you gone, and just kind of then adding things in your updates and all, but really building the campaign. We had to build it in 3 weeks, and that was quite intense, but really, I think it really trained us to pitch in the future. I never saw crowdfunding as the end all be all for us. I heard someone one day say, if you manage to sell your business and if you manage to get anyone to invest in your business, an average person, let's say, not a professional, if you manage to get a certain amount of average people, like common people that aren't professional investors, to invest in your business, then you should be able to get a professional down the line, right? So training to get people that don't understand what the investment landscape looks like, or don't always understand what a safe can bring to them, or what they're getting against their $100, $500. It was key to understand that and be able to simplify the message to be like, okay, if I can explain it to them, then I can master my messaging later. So it's always a stepping stone. And Republic was, I looked through every platform, and we really went deep into talking to some of them, and Republic was the one that was very clear, very transparent, and I liked the offering they gave the investors, and it just felt fair, and we kind of met them at the right point where they acquired SheWorx, and I had been following SheWorx, so it was kind of like, oh, okay, that works. Yay.
Nothing but love for that. That's so great to hear, and the best note to kind of end on.